Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. And on this platform, we talk about personal growth, professional development, professional development, spiritual growth, everything when it comes to going from the level where you are to where you want to go. And today in this conversation, I have with me Mr. TL Sushanth Ram, who has been in the corporate for 20 plus years, served various blue chip organizations, and I actually never needed a reference to introduce any of my guests, but this time I have literally written everything down because I don't want to miss on. He has worked with Dell, Deloitte, Ryan, KPMG, and many other organizations. Sushant is the founder of Gate Amplifiers. He is a leadership coach as well, who helps people to go from a mid management level to the promotions that they are looking for and how they can work on the roadblocks that are coming between them and the promotions that they want and get higher paying jobs. Welcome, Sushant. Welcome to my YouTube channel.
Thanks so much, Rutuja. That's been a quite extensive introduction about myself, but thank you so much. It's been pleasure to be part of your show, and I'm looking forward to have a candid conversation with you.
Yes, and I think the introduction is only the tip of the iceberg. We are going to uncover all the secrets that a person needs to know when he or she is working in the corporate and wants to climb up the corporate ladder. So, yes, Sushant, help me understand what was your first job? Where did you start from? And how did you get this aspiration of working with the consulting firms or getting into consulting?
Great. So my journey has been a roller coaster ride. So I initially, post completion of my bachelor's in commerce, I did from a prestigious institute called Madruka College of Commerce. And the reason why I call it a prestigious institution is like that's one of the top institution for accounting and commerce across India. Getting a seat itself is like always a competitive kind of a space over there. So post completing that, I did wrote my cat, and I did got a good uh, marks. Unfortunately, my dad had to retire due to his health concerns, and then I thought like going to a my initial dream was to be part of IIM and complete my master's in business administration. So, in fact, my dad's dream was also that, but unfortunately, due to some exigencies, had to park that dream. And I connected with one of my friends and started being part of an auditor, and that auditor gave me a opportunity to be part of City Corp. I mean, Citibank had a division called City Corp, where they used to um, give loans to the leased equipments, and it could be a tractor, it could be some other leased equipment. So I was going over there to the City Corp division in Hyderabad, and I just used to go there, audit the loan documents, audit everything, whatever the financial statements. That was my accounting related job, and then my journey had a different shift altogether. There was a opportunity with one of the third-party outsourcing firms. They wanted to start their operations in Hyderabad, but they had basically offshore operations in Chennai. So it was a opportunity where it was in the same leased equipments kind of a thing. So we were trying to uh, audit the transactions, what they were giving a loans to the equipment leasing. And this is where I thought like my first corporate stint began. And the reason I say my first corporate stint, because this was the first job where I was not working as a consultant, or nor I was working as accountant specialist. I was working in a different dimension, and it was a good experience because my first job, and I had to work with the people who were quite older than me. I mean,
Yeah.
I was hardly 21, 2021 kind of a thing. Um, I had to understand how I need to work. I mean, theoretically, I would have learned a lot working in a team, and how I need to collaborate. But I had to go through a lot. I mean, I had to understand different dimensions, and in fact, like that process was a night shift process, and never I have been exposed to a night shift kind of a thing. So it was different. Mentally it was different, and physically also I need to adapt to a number of things. I had to go out of my comfort zone. I stayed in Chennai for over 6+ months, but it was a good experience.
So, yes,
I mean,
Sushant, I would like to ask you something from a perspective of early career professionals, because when you're getting out of college and then you get your first job, and then there are multiple changes happening very rapidly. So here I want to understand from you, when we talk about promotions, and promotion cycle do come into picture later on. But what is it that a early career professional should keep in mind, or a mindset that they need to build from day one when they are entering into corporates, if they want to maintain a good pace or a good rapport when it comes to leadership, as you said that you are also working with quite senior people?
so ideally, I teach this mantra to people whenever they onboard. It's like it's a AAA battery format. Uh, A stands for agility. You should be agile. I mean, the concept called fail faster applies to the newbies also. It's like what you will have your failures kind of a thing, but try to try to get out of that failure on a faster note, because you don't have a lengthy period of time where people or organizations look or give you that kind of a time for you to settle down. So your learning period should be on a faster note. So that is why I call it as an agility. Second thing is amplify yourself. Always try to be visible across people and be involved. I mean, be expressive and be involved. And that is where your amplification starts on. And the third one is your attitude and adaptability factors always plays a very crucial role, because there are emotions which will go high, and at that point of time you have to maintain your composure, and your attitude should always reflect that, okay, fine, you are positive or you are inclusive towards the values of the organization. When you have this three A's, which I call it as a AAA battery format. When you have this 3A, I think there is no stoppage for your success. You will move much faster than the rest of the 99% crowd will be getting stuck.
Yes, like you said, that it is agility, amplification of oneself, and the attitude that you have, and taking responsibility of actually fast tracking your own career, as you said, because you won't be getting all the time in the world to do that. And from my own experience, I feel that we need to go and ask for work. If you are sitting idle, or as a fresher people are just considering that he's a newbie or she's a newbie, I think you're the one who needs to show that kind of proactiveness and not wait always for instructions to be given. That's something that I
Absolutely,
observed.
absolutely. I mean, I follow a principle called OZ principle. That's a very a good methodology in the industry, and that methodology states: see the opportunity, own the opportunity, solve the a problem statement or the opportunity, and do the opportunity, which means execute. So always you have to keep your eyes open for spotting some opportunities within your circle itself. There will be plenty of opportunities, but a lot many times, like, we don't look at the opportunities which are within our vicinity. We start looking or comparing ourselves with someone, and that comparison always deviates you in a track, and that's where you get lost. So it's quite important. You have to look out for the opportunities. The opportunities are within your vicinity itself.
That's quite true, and we need to be vigilant about that. So, moving forward with your story, so how from here, your first corporate opportunity, did you get the job of being a senior tax consultant, analyst, sorry, in
So
Deloitte?
so after my stint with this third party organization, so I wanted some change, and in fact, like, I wanted to look at different kind of a job, uh, and role. That is where I was in Dell was starting its operations in Hyderabad at that point of time, and they were also doing lease equipment kind of a process. So I was initially interviewed for that, but the greatest thing in Dell is, like, they will try to give you something which you are not even exposed to. So I was automatically pushed to a process, voice process, into a technical support. I don't know any A to Z about networking and troubleshooting the desktops, laptops, and peripherals. So it was a new journey for me. So I had to go through voice and accent neutralization training, and then I understood about different accent dialects, and then again, I also need to understand the technical process about how to troubleshoot a laptop, peripherals, desktops, any kind of issues we have, and my whole goal in that was, like, there was this program which used to run, and Dell was like, if there is a excellent customer service and the customer reports back to their experience to Michael Dell used to send an email to the person who has resolved this problem. So my
Wow.
goal from the day one was, I have to get a email appreciation from Michael Dell. So I did my best. After 14 months or 15th month, on a straight note, I got two letters from Michael Dell. That was a
That's
great, awesome experience. And then I thought, okay, fine, I've done, I have accomplished. Now I want to move back to my own finance and accounting thing. And this is where Deloitte happened. I mean, Deloitte was starting its process for indirect tax, the property tax division. And this is where I got interviewed, and I started my journey. And I had a very good experience. I mean, I don't even know anything about the tax, but again, I always had these things. I mean, any new things, I put too much of due diligence and the focus and concentration to learn and ensure I be the leader in that. And that drive pushed me to learn the tax concepts and the jurisdictional technical aspects on a faster note. One of my very close colleagues and friend, I mean, he's a leader for a different organization. I don't want to name him, but
yeah.
he helped me a lot. He was a person who trained me, and we used to work on a parallel note, um, and it was a good journey and exposure. And then Deloitte at one point of time was looking to divest its indirect tax because they had issues with the contingency fees and SOX impediments. And that is where they divested the process to Thomson Reuters. And in fact, Thomson was, at that point of time, Thomson was not even merged with Reuters. So Thomson was
So
independent.
before we go to Thompson, I know the chapter is getting interesting. I just
Yeah.
want to summarize the two secrets that I at least got to learn from your journey. First is where you said that whenever you are put into this new role, you would put in that extra effort and focus to learn that particular thing. And I
Yeah.
think there is this resistance that does come whether you are an early professional, a mid management professional, or even when you go to the higher levels of seniority, that we sort of develop this resistance or a fixed mindset that I belong to this technology only, me coming from a technical background, or I belong to this particular suit only. But this kind of openness that you had towards learning, I think that's one of the biggest thing. And companies are looking for resources who have this skill particularly. And second was the visibility, because if you know that the organization has a part of this mail you get from such a senior person, and you will be clearly visible to your direct lead or even your indirect leads, because I know that
Absolutely.
when you do something for your team that is uh, that is so important and significant, everybody acknowledge you. It's not just your manager, but then
Correct.
his manager and his manager or her
Correct.
manager. It starts like that. So I think using such things and being vigilant about it, increasing your visibility, are two very big secrets that we often overlook. Yeah, so now comes the interesting part where you worked with Thompson, and you got the position of an assistant manager, where you actually entered the leadership.
So Thompson, actually, I started my journey as a senior specialist, then grow myself to a team leader, and then again grew myself to a assistant manager. But I mean, the initial journey with Thompson was like, I mean, Thompson did not have that kind of a visibility and presence in Hyderabad. I mean, they had a very good presence in Bangalore, and the first initial aspect was like, okay, you are getting divested from Deloitte. Deloitte is a big four, and you're going to an organization which doesn't even have that kind of a presence. So this was a big aspect which was running in my mind. But again, uh, I thought like this is another opportunity for me where if I am working towards, and if I put all my right efforts, I will grow myself to a good level. And this is where started participating or getting involved in the organizational activities from a leadership level. And in fact, like one of the first events we did in Hyderabad was like the job fair. And this is where I got an opportunity. At that point of time, my senior manager had a lot of confidence in me, and uh, that senior manager gave me an opportunity to be participating in the job fair, where I am actually I mean, sidejacking with my seniors and interviewing the candidates. So that was a great exposure for me. And this is where uh, my leadership skills started getting onto a visible note. And I was also working on a strategic note where any leadership visits, I was nominated to present about some of the accomplishments and the milestones. And I was also acting like a backroom boy where I prepare the PPTs for my leadership team. And the biggest bet was like I got an opportunity to present across a CEO of Thomson at that point of time, Thomson Reuters CEO. And that was a great opportunity. The reason because is mentally I had to prepare myself, because I was just a team leader, and I am presenting to a CEO of an organization. And I mean, I have to go to a very strategic level to present myself and present about the team's accomplishment. And this is where the game got much interesting, because he was going through different teams and he was listening to some of the presentations. And at that point of time, my senior manager was coming in and, Sushant, it's getting a little bit delayed. So your presentation actually was 10 minutes. Now, I think it cut short to 5 minutes. So you prepare yourself about how you want to present your accomplishments. Then again, after 5 minutes, the senior manager again came down and said, Sushant, it's getting further delayed. Your presentation slot is now 5 minutes. So you mentally prepare yourself. Then again, it got cut short to 2 minutes. I said, okay, let me do a secret sauce to this presentation. Is start with a high impact what this process has done, and I started. He got literally mesmerized with my presentation because he commented about that presentation in two other forums, and that was a testimonial for me that okay, fine, yes, if I can do this, I can do this for any presentation. And that's where my confidence got almost skyrocketed. And from then, I have never worried about any presentations. I mean, I just go, be myself. I know very well. I have a target audience, and I have to manage the target audience, and I have to influence them with a right value proposition. That's been my game. And from there, I mean, I grew up to a assistant manager level, and this is where the game got much more interesting. Was till now I thought, okay, fine, the growth trajectory was going in a fashion where it is
So when you
exciting.
were the assistant manager, how many years you had completed as a part of your corporate experience?
Close to I think like 10 plus.
10
Close
plus
to
years
10
you
plus.
you
Yeah.
required to get to the
Yeah.
assistant manager position.
I think
In
around 10, I
around
think like 7 to 10
7 to
around.
10.
Yeah.
Around 7 to 10.
seven
Okay.
to ten.
And I also found something very interesting where you said, even if you were at the assistant manager position, you were participating in other organizational activities, which is not always a
even
part of your
even at
job
a team
description.
lead level, not even at an assistant manager level, team lead level.
Okay.
So I said to myself that I have to get involved and I have to get this opportunity. And whenever I used to have a discussion with my senior managers or leadership team, I always used to tell them as like how I can be participating and how I can help and how I can contribute my value proposition. I never used to ask for a role. I always used to ask for what more I can contribute, because I know that okay, fine, if I'm able to give or give that value proposition, I will definitely get a role. So that
Yeah.
was my mantra. But when I got to an assistant manager level, I think somewhere maybe I little bit got deviated probably, or maybe I was comparing myself with some other people, and this is where my growth trajectory took a little bit longer time. From an assistant manager to a manager, I took almost 3 years. The reason because is I was working in all directions, and this is where I lost the game. The reason because I mentioned I lost the game is I couldn't spot the top key results of an organization or a team which contributes to the ROI. And this is where I had a very candid conversation once with uh, one of my mentors, and that mentor opened my bulb on movement kind of a thing. And this is where I understood as, oh, I am missing a lot. I need to work towards these key results. And this is where my journey
Hmm.
got scaled up and I grew to a manager level. From
Yes, so
there, yeah,
here I would like to pause you to help our audience understand this point in a much depth. That instead of working in all directions, you said that you were missing on the major key
correct,
performance indicators or something that would create the ROI for the organization.
correct, correct.
So, Could you reflect more on this point, or give some examples, or tell us that when you come to assistant manager position or a manager position, because the hierarchies are different across organization, what you should focus on, or where will you find these, or how will you find these ROI points?
So I'll give you a good example about it. Okay, in everyone's goal sheet, quality is the important metric. I mean, any organization for that matter, quality of your product or the experience or quality of the transaction or anything is very important. That is a critical metric. And we put some measurement analysis is 99% quality or 100% quality or 98% quality. Now, the 99% of the population, what they do is the moment we get that goal, they start thinking about the thing is, okay, fine, I'm getting this productivity is there. I need to ensure there is no error. I need to double check, and I need to review myself or ensure that whoever is reviewing, they don't find any errors. That's the simple mantra everyone follows in. Now you need to do a flip side about that. What you should look out is when you get a 98% or a 99% or even 100% quality metric, you should start looking out what are the opportunity areas where any kind of a error happens. It could be a cognitive error, or it could be
Hmm.
unintentionally, or it could, you don't know. I mean, it could be a typo error also. What are the areas you get any kind of a error? And once you try to put down a metric towards that, you will try to understand the top 20% which contributes to the error metric. Once you know that, you should start now decoding about what are the best practice we can do to avoid this, and how you can create this knowledge awareness across the team. So,
Yes.
so there are 2 3 points you gotten. Now the other point would be is like in decoding these things, you'll also understand some automation opportunities, some best practice, which will highly contribute towards the productivity also. So if you are able to do this kind of an exercise, it will take some time. But if you do this kind of an exercise and involve yourself and project to your manager or project to your leader, obviously the person will always have a different opinion about you. He will not treat you like a the rest of the crowd. He will always have a different kind of a perception or an opinion running in his mind. This is what will add a bit of an advantage for you. And this is what means like identifying the key results of an organization or a key results of a team, which will contribute to the top ROI of the organization of or the team. I just gave you an example, but there is a detailed process you can work out. And
Yes.
I mean, that is what I did, and it brought me a result for me.
That's very interesting, because when you were telling me about it, I was getting some flashbacks about the organization that I worked for, and how I saw my, team leads, managers across different functionalities coming and talking in the meetings already about what could actually happen further. And I was backtracking that, yes, I had got the perception that if I want to, need some guidance about a far sighted guidance I need about something, I need to approach this particular person. So that place that your error could happen, and if you are making your team aware about it beforehand, you're already, I think you are already embodying leadership. That's what I feel, because when anybody, no matter if it is just a corporate organization or any other organization, it's not that they select somebody and then they make him or her the leader. They select people who are already embodying leadership. So this is something that's a fantastic perspective that you gave us. Thanks, thanks for that. So now it gets more interesting from being the manager to working and going becoming the director of KPMG. I think that that's a very big achievement that
Absolutely.
you did in such a short span of time that you had, and your journey looks very different. Like, you took some time to build it up, and then this leap is huge. From manager level to going this level is huge. So what changed? What happened? And how did you get there?
So post, I got into the manager role. Now, what I did was like I followed this mantra called if you want to go alone, you can run faster. And if you want to take everyone, you need to go together. So this is where I started contributing to everyone's growth. I started looking how I can create that impact and ecosystem of the leaders within the teams and across my teams also on a selfless note. And when I saw your academy as a selfless leadership academy, it struck me a lot. It's like, okay, fine. One of my values is getting resonated over there. So this is where I started acting like a mentor to many people and started coaching them and started driving people towards that growth trajectory. And I also saw my trajectory improving and I grew to a senior manager level. And at Ryan, I again, Thomson Reuters to Ryan was another big transition because Thomson Reuters also divested the indirect tax practice. So Ryan took over this practice, and they did not had any operations in India, and it was a great experience for us actually, setting up an operations, understanding a different cultural value, and this is an opportunity where I was part of a culture council and started impacting on the cultural values of the organization and how culture can play a very very important role in organization's success. And in fact, I was a certified culture trainer at Ryan, and there we started a program called a leadership exploration journey, a program where we used to train budding leaders and give them the case studies and scenarios through which people can grow in their growth trajectory. And at that point of time, a lot of my interest was growing towards uh, the training, and majority of my friends used to tell Sushant, I think like your skills are very good matching to be a trainer and a coaching industry, so you should always look out for those kind of roles. But somehow, I mean, I felt I wanted to supplement that coaching and mentorship as a driver in my operational role. And I was following that path itself. And this is where this opportunity to be part of KPMG happened. One of the partners was quite uh, uh, interested in getting me to the organization, and I also was excited about the opportunity because here again I had to work on a cultural set of things because it was a complete different culture, and the setup was completely different. So it was a good opportunity, and I did worked as a culture catalyst over there. In fact, like I was part of a culture council, and things were moving on until there was one roadblock where there was a personal exigency where my father-in-law was diagnosed with prostate cancer, and all of a sudden, my wife also started having some complications, and this is where It was getting too extensive for me to travel between Hyderabad and Bangalore because I was stationed at Bangalore. And I thought, like, let me quit, let me take a break, and let me relook and revise myself, like what I can do. And this is where my startup thing happened. And I, along with my co-brother, we started a firm called Authenticate Amplifiers. The name sounds uh, very much non-familiar kind of a thing. Authenticate, the name itself means, like, I mean, we wanted to collaborate with a lot of syndicate kind of a group and organizations. That is why we wanted to name it as an Authenticate, amplifying people's success and amplifying organization success. And we wanted to run as a community hub. That's why we kept Authenticate Amplifiers Hub. And then again, at one point of time, I thought, like, considering my rich experience in the leadership arena, I could impact a lot many people, and I can contribute myself. Considering I've grown lot many people in their career trajectory, I thought, like, my expertise and experience would help in growing people. And as I'm a big fan of this OS principle, the OS principle itself will give key inputs to the people's growth trajectory. So that is where I supplemented myself, or I entered into the coaching and
So we'll discover more about, your coaching practice and how you help people. But before this, I want to summarize what other two very big secrets I could find out for getting promotions in the conversation that we just had. Where once I could see that every stage how you were making a significant impact, which was differentiating you from other people. I mean, when somebody is making this kind of contribution, that person is always in the spotlight. You don't have to do anything additionally for your visibility. You are automatically visible when you are contributing. And the fourth very interesting point is your network, where you said that a partner approached you from KPMG, where you have been on such big positions, where you have been the director at Ryan, and then you were the associate director here in KPMG. And here you've built very good connections and very good network. So I want you to highlight this a little bit more, that when you are in this space, whether you are in mid management or senior management, what you should keep in mind before networking or while networking with people.
see, the first important aspect we always miss while moving our career trajectory is, like, how you can involve yourself connecting with different leaders. You have to, I mean, obviously, everyone has their own set of priorities. So it's not someone would come to you and a leader will start understanding about you. You have to go. You have to connect with them. You have to understand. You have to present about your strengths. You have to understand what kind of an opportunity you can definitely apply or get involved, so that it will contribute towards the ROI. I'll give one example over here. Even in KPMG, I always used to connect with different leaders outside my team, because I mean, connecting with the internal leaders within your team is very easy, and it's also very much feasible. But connecting outside your team always gives a different perspective, and you also know about what is that different stakeholders are expecting or thinking about some of the key results of the organization. So this is what something I always tell people is, you have to involve yourself. Seeking insights and seeking involvement is a very key parallel activity you should do at any given role. Even if that matters, you are a partner or you are a CEO, you should always constantly collaborate with different set of people to understand what's the pulse at that point of time and what's running in different people's mindset, so that you can adapt or you can also follow the same kind of a best practice. So that is something I always follow and I always teach people. And that's the biggest missing factor for anyone. And that's what
Yes.
differentiates between 99% and that 1% successful people. So it's quite important. You have to be in the zone.
Yeah, so when you said that, having this kind of conversations about insights, about how the stakeholders are thinking about the things that you need to deliver as a team, I think it's very important. And people usually wait for that, the feedback quarterly meetings to happen so that they can get some feedbacks and all.
That's where actually people miss in. This is where probably we need to follow a approach called see it, say it kind of an approach. Whenever you see it, you try to get onto it and try to have that conversation so that the conversation is productive and the conversation is moving forward. And even if there is a constructive criticism, you are getting to know much in advance than the rest of the population getting to know only in the 12th hour. And one thing I always love is like when you get the insights on a timely note, you will have a lot much of an energy to work on those insights on any kind of a feedback. But when you don't get any insights, this is where you will not be able to understand. It will be too much of a blind spot for you to find out, and you will get stuck. So I urge people is what they need to constantly look out is like they have to get involved. They need to be in that game. They can't be getting out of that game. They have to be in the game.
Yeah, so yeah, as you said, even if it is a constructive kind of criticism, it's always okay to get it instead of getting it on the 11th or the 12th hour. Coming to that, when you have very tough bosses, or when you have people in your team that are very strict, and which happens in consulting, or which happens in a department like yours, which was tax, where that kind of diligence is required, that kind of perfection is required. There is no other way around. So how will you say to cope up with difficulties that are coming up due to saying having strict bosses, or just somebody who just scolded you or something like that? Because I see this is an issue that happens with people, that once you have a tough conversation with somebody, the next time you meet the same person in the office, your perspective about the person has changed, or the perspective that you feel that now this person thinks that I am not a good performer, and we put this label onto ourselves more than that the person has put on us. So how do you look at these things?
I have a very good experience of working with the tough taskmasters also. In an NLP terminology, chunking down, chunking up. So I've worked with both the personalities. See, the first problem, in fact, like this was one more thing I couldn't spot during my growth trajectory of that assistant manager to manager was like um, I did not understood the personality of my stakeholders. And if when you don't understand the personality, when you don't understand what is that they are expecting, you will get overwhelmed. You will be moving in every direction, and you will always depend on someone else's perception, and that perception uh, can hit your mindset and your execution efforts. So that was my key learning, and from then what I started understanding about is like understanding different people's personality. In fact, like I used to go into that psychology of reading people. What is that they are expecting? If I'm able to decode their reading and their expectation, it becomes very easy for me to work out a plan.
Yeah.
But there are instances where you will not be able to decode
Yeah.
because some of your leaders might change their plan quite frequently. And this is where you have to make sure your mindset is in the zone. If they are making too much of frequent changes, you have to call that out also. You have to I mean, you should express to your leader in a way where that person understands that okay, quite frequent changes is gonna lose the momentum, and we need to stick to a plan for a at least like a good number of a time, so that like things are moving in a direction. So I had my own set of an experience, but I always teach people is to first decode the personality of your boss, decode what they are expecting out of you. If you are able to do that, 50% of your battle is done,
Yes.
including the including key stakeholders also. If you are able to decode that, that's it. I mean, uh, you are only relying on the execution efforts, and if you executed it very well, and the game is yours.
Yes. So, as you said, decode the personality of your bosses and also other key stakeholders, and don't take it personally. It's about the task. It's not about
Yes,
you. I
yes.
think in the corporate, this thing has to be really understood, because it's not about you. It's about the task. Everybody is bothered about the task, and it's, if it is getting done or the expectations are getting met, and where you think it's unrealistic, where you said that things are being changed very frequently and it hampers the productivity of the team, you can politely call it out, or you can put it forward in a one-on-one setup. That can always be done. So great
And
insights over here.
always
Yeah.
feel that whenever someone criticizes you, you write it down in a paper and ensure that you see that in your paper is, I am the best and I'm becoming the best version of myself. When you put that, automatically you are training your mind that yes, I am the best, and I am becoming the best version. I mean, criticism can happen at any given point of time, but you don't get bogged down in the criticism. You try to prove yourself that you are meant to be the best.
Yes, I think this is one of the biggest leadership skills to build, and people who sort of, already have a embodied leadership kind of a personality, they don't want to be criticized, and they already want to perform their best. And if you have that intention at your heart, connect it to how it is related to your growth. So if you take, if you disassociate that thing with the person, you keep it about the task, you keep it about your improvement, and when you marry these two things, it promotes you as a person, it promotes your growth. And that's wonderfully how you helped us understand it from a corporate scenario perspective. So, as you know, you said that you are a fan of Oz principle, and you also told us time to time in the conversation how it's helpful. So talk a little about, let's say, any leader who comes to you and says, I want to get promoted. How do you use the Oz principle to get results for the person?
So the first important aspect, in fact, like I did cover about this to an extent in my live event last week. The first important aspect you need to uncover is like, are you doing the job or are you achieving the result? There are two different things. A lot of times, what we understand is doing job is achieving result. No, doing job is just you are going there. There is a goal sheet. There is a demand. There is a supply. You are only in that demand supply cycle. Rather, if you have to get out of that doing job versus being part of achieving result, you should start decoding the top key results. So whenever you get a goal sheet, everyone has a goal. I mean, every year the goal keeps changing it. Whenever you get a goal sheet, the first thing 90% or 99% of the population do is they just extrapolate that goal, what has been assigned by your line manager in the application. That's it. They don't even look at what exactly the goal is, what are the trigger factors, what is the measurement analysis, what are the milestones actually they have put across. No one has the time to look into it. Everyone is busy in that demand supply cycle, and that is why you always get stuck. Your stress factor always increases. So you have to take time. You have to decode. Okay, if this is my goal, within this goal, what is one trigger factor or what is one milestone which can impact the entire organization or impact the entire team? If we are able to decode that, then you should put some execution plan, and then you should have a follow through on that execution plan. You should connect with your leader frequently, explain about your efforts and explain about your progress and explain about the intent and the spirit of achieving that goal. That contributes towards your holistic success, and automatically the role will happen for you. And in this circle, you also need to understand is what kind of a skill sets you have to enable yourself, or you have to upskill. I mean, you have to start looking next two sets of level where your skill sets are matching those two sets to higher up levels, so that if you are able to upskill, that skill sets is gonna give you the desired results. So I would call combination of three cycles. One is mindset, the second cycle is skill set, the third cycle is the strategic element. And if all three cycles combine, it you will be able to achieve the results. And this is where it is recoded: see it, own it, solve it, and do it. So when you are in this cycle, you are not blaming anyone. You are owning the results. You are being part of achieving the result. You are not blaming, okay, fine, this guy was biased, kind of a thing. You are telling the leader that I want to own my promotion, I want to own my.
Yes. So here are two very important points. Once in corporates, I feel that over communication is better than under communication, where you said that you frequently talk to your leads, frequently talk, and people also get a sense that, what I need to put either in my mindset or skill set or strategically so that I can become eligible for that particular promotion. That's a fantastic frame that you have given us. And another important point was the
Actually, one
ownership of.
point I wanted to, I'm so sorry to hijack. One point I wanted to mention, this kind of a line of thinking, um, I was inspired by one of the a senior most person in GE, and and that person actually did this kind of a process and thinking, so that like he is visible and he's ensuring the growth and ROI to the entire organization. And that's where I thought like if he could do it, I can definitely do it, and started applying about it, and it gave me results. So I just wanted to mention about it. I'm so sorry to hijack your.
No problem. It was a very interesting point. And like I was saying, that the ownership part, which you said, is very important. Oftentimes, when we see that somebody has been promoted instead of you, there is a lack in your own motivation to actually go forward and start doing things all over again. And we have this mindset when that happens, that whatever I do, somehow success doesn't come to me, promotions don't come to me, so we start victimizing ourselves a lot, and we blame the matrix, we blame the stakeholders. There may or may not be, politics involved, there may or may not be that matrix involved, but how does one keep himself or herself motivated when such things happen, that they are feeling that they are deserving of it but they're not getting it, and how the person should approach the situation?
Quite interesting point. It's an emotional thing
Yeah.
also. A lot of times, what happens, Rutuja, 99% of times when you are not getting promoted or you're not getting that result and someone else is getting the result, what is your feeling? Your feeling is the feeling of that sadness is there, and the feeling of jealousy comes in. Okay, is like why that person is getting, why I'm not getting it, and we never compliment the other person. Rather, we try blaming or we try finding some fault. Hey, this person did not do anything and he got the success. So rather, I mean, I used to think in that format, but I transform myself as like, see, the whole universe is abundant. You will have your share of success. No one is going to take your share of success. If not in this junction, you will find it in another junction. So always try to look from a perspective of, okay, if your colleague or friend is achieving the result and you did not, the first thing you should go and you should compliment and you should congratulate that person, and start understanding what is two three things he or she did different, which you did not do. None of us
Yes.
we do that. None of us we don't do that into that state. We always go, we show our frustration. We go to the line manager or we go to the leader and we say, no, I am disappointed, I want to switch off my job. This is where that emotional feeling will always start building in. And even when you go to another job, you will not be quite successful, because you will start facing the same kind of an instance over there also. So my request or my recommendation to people would be is like compliment, congratulate wholeheartedly, embrace the success, and then understand what are the factors, two or three factors which you could apply, what you did not apply. And this will definitely take you towards the next set of things on a much faster mode, because the universe will give you things in abundance. So don't worry about it. If you start worrying, you are only putting some negative feelings, and that negative feelings is only create much more problems in your life. So that is my mantra, or that is my theme, Rutuja.
Yes, so in such situations, the abundance mindset comes quite handy that if not this for me, then there is something bigger that's waiting for me. I think even I say this to myself, and I also like your spirit of bouncing back. You know, in the beginning, you said that you wanted to go for an MBA through CAT. That did not happen, but how you sort of took this journey and you did, work with prestigious institutes like IIM Kozhikode. You worked with Symbiosis. You
I did.
studied from
I
the
actually I got an opportunity when I was in a Thomson Reuters. I got an opportunity to did I mean do my uh, executive educations from IIM, and thanks to the leadership team who had that confidence in me. And when I stepped onto the IIM campus, I had the complete emotional feelings, because I was thinking about my dad. My dad was no longer there at that point of time, so I was only thinking about him. And I just said to him, "Thanks, I have fulfilled your dreams, and I have fulfilled my dream also." So that was quite a emotional moment. I mean, I had one more emotional moment which I can discuss it later when the time comes in. But I think like you always need to be thinking that things will come back. Things are there. Even when I quit KPMG, I always had this belief, and I still have a belief. Is like I am gonna impact community on a larger note, and I'm gonna create that magic for people, and automatically magic will happen for me. So I have that strong belief, and that's driving me, Rutuja.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. So this message I wanted to convey, especially people from our generation who are in their mid 20s and they feel like they've missed out on so much. Who is doing job wants to do an education, who's in education wants to go and have an experience. So I think it all comes in life at the right time, and we just need to trust the process and do and contribute in the present moment. That's something that I am taking away from this conversation today, and your spirit of bouncing back. So if you were to, leave one message for the person who's striving and is wanting to climb up the corporate ladder, what would that message be?
My first thing, or the important message to people, is believe in yourself. If you don't believe in yourself, no one will have a belief on you. So believe in yourself, and start understanding the skill sets you need to embrace and upskill. Not look at the current level. Always start looking at maybe 2 3 levels upwards, and start looking at what kind of a things you need to embrace yourself, and that will give you a journey, and you will definitely gonna love that journey. So this is a very important message. The other things are variable constants. There's like some of the strategy could change in, but these two important things are very important: mindset and the skill set. If you are able to refine your mindset, and you are able to upskill yourself, and that ability to change in upskilling your skill set matters a lot. So if you are able to decode this, the rest of the journey is like 20% only. The 20% shouldn't take too much of time. 80%
Yes.
is this. So that is why Tony Robbins always says 80% psychology and 20% mechanics. If your psychology is very strong, mechanics is gonna definitely be in that line.
Yes, and that's we are what I am seeing in my coaching practice day in and out, and even you see that how the mindset and your way of looking at life matters a lot. And that's what I said. I learned from your journey that even if there are roadblocks coming your way, you don't take it as a stop message, but in fact you actually redirect yourself. You keep redirecting yourself, and that's why I labeled Self Leadership Academy as well, where you are directing yourself in the direction that is truly aligned to you. And we'll be having more interesting conversations on these platforms where I bring in unconventional thinkers, people who are doing some very interesting things with their life, people who have been successful, have experimented, have so many things in their life which are truly marvelous. And thank you so much, Sushant, for being a part of this conversation. Very, very grateful to you. We almost had, like, an hour of a mini training session where I hope viewers also learned a lot from your journey. And we always get to learn more from journeys and stories rather than, just saying, hey, I had this is step 1, step 2, step 3. And that's not actually how it works. It's more about the mindset. And I hope that people were able to understand the mindset aspect through this conversation. Thank you so much.
My pleasure, Rutuja. Thank you so much for getting this kind of a platform to interact, and I think it's quite interesting the things what you are doing it, and I appreciate your support, and the impact you are driving into the entire community. So it is definitely a great thing, and you're following that thing is like, if you just want to go faster, you can go alone, but if you want to take everyone, you are going together. So you wanted to take everyone towards that success destination, and I appreciate that. But thanks so much for inviting me. It was a quite a
Yes.
good conversation. I did not even notice that 1 hour passed away much faster. So it was definitely a great conversation. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you.